Okay, so with this question, we have to reproduce the given tangency problem. We have to show all tangent points and curves and insert center lines where needed. Alright, so this question is pretty much symmetrical. So in our drawing, we'll be doing a lot of mirroring where needed. So first thing first, I'm going to lay out these smaller circles that we have here. And if we look right here, we would see 6 holes at diameter 12. They are spaced 38 millimeters from the center and 62 from the center of circle to circle. Alright, so let's start with that. So we're going to go to the construction layer, right? So we have 38, and we have another 38, and we have 62, and another 62. Okay, now we could use the center diameter because they gave us the diameter, which is 12. And let's just copy selection from the center. One here. Sorry, it doesn't have any. Copy selection. We have like this exact same thing. Copy. And this end as well. Nice. So we have our smaller holes of diameter 12 laid out. Now we can go ahead and construct these arcs here by drawing circles on the outer end. So the center would be the same center as your diameter 12 holes, and the radius they gave us as 12. Alright, so we'd have 4 on each corner, radius 12. Center radius. Lovely. So now we can draw these straight vertical lines here, alright, and we know that these lines would be 12 millimeters off from the center. So let's go back and do that. Copy this. Right click, need to turn on quadrant. Right there. So there you see our shape coming together nicely. So I've used these lines here one time as center lines. Alright, so I'll change that to the center line here. I'll fix it up a bit more. Now, if we go to the center here, we would see that we have 2 partial circles here at radius 16. So let's draw in those 2 circles with the same center. So we go to center radius, the center 16, let's just copy. Lovely. Now we are going to go back to the question and let's go ahead and kill two birds with one stone and get these two circles here. So first of all, how do we get to the center of this circle? So we know this center and this center is 38 millimeters apart, and then the difference in height from this center to this center, we see it will be 12. So we're going to come across with a straight line, construction line at 38 and then go up 12 millimeters. So there we have the center. So let's go back and just get the measurements that we need. So our larger circle would be radius 20, and then this smaller circle, we see we have two holes of diameter 25. So we have a circle of diameter 25, and then we have one as 20. Let's go ahead and delete these two circles. Okay, nice. So now we want to get this circle to the top here, and this is the center of this diameter 25 circle. So how do we get to this point? Once again, we go from this center here across by 38, and then we come down 24, which is this 24 here, to get the center, and then we'll do the circle of diameter 25. Okay, so here's where we start to draw our tangents. Alright, so let's start with this particular tangent here. Alright, now this tangent of this arc of radius 100 belongs to a circle of radius 100. So it's tangential to this arc here, which we already have as a circle of radius 12. Alright, now this tangent is going to be an internal tangent because this circle is inside of this circle of radius 12 would be inside the circle of radius 100. So therefore, if we were to scribe arcs, we would have to scribe arcs with the radii of both circles subtracted. So that subtracted number would be radius 12 from 100. Now we are going to use this center, or the center of the radius 12 circle, and we're going to describe our arc, which is the first arc. So 12 from 100 would give us 88. So let's go and describe that arc. Using the arc tool, center, start, end, and this point at center, Okay, so we could turn off ultra mode. We want our arc to go somewhere here. So we're going to describe the arc, 88. Let's make it a little smaller and neater. Lovely. And now we're going to describe the very same arc on the opposite end. Now, using these arcs as point of intersection, we are going to describe an arc 100 to the top. Seeing that our object is symmetrical, this very same curve that we have to the top would be the very same curve that we have to the bottom. But we must remember that we must show all tangent points and curves. Okay, so in this case, we're going to highlight the intersecting arcs, and then we're going to highlight the curve, and we are going to mirror. But where are we going to mirror? We're going to mirror through the line of symmetry, which is the dead center of the object. So we need to draw a straight line to represent this line of symmetry. So we could go from here to here, and do we want to erase the source object? We're making sure and press no, because we want the top arc to be there when completed. So that is it. Now we can go ahead and start to shape up the outside of our object. So let's go back and take a look. Now we can go and trim. Now we can come back in and delete these two arcs. That is not needed. Okay, so now seeing that we have it so far, and we know for sure that some lines and curves and circles are what we are going to keep, we could remove these from the construction layer by highlighting them and then placing them into the object line layer. Here we want our smaller circles, so it's no longer construction lines. We're going to put them in the object line. Okay, let's undo that. Right. So we know for certain that we are not going to touch or edit these that we have in the object line layer. Obviously, these arcs are construction lines, and therefore we're going to leave it on the construction line layer. Let's go back to the question. So now we are going to draw this particular circle here. Now with this circle, I'm going to use the tangent tool. Now there are two ways that we can do it. We can either use the tangent tool, or we could use the tangent rules and work it out on our own. But for this particular circle, right, I am going to use the tangent tool to show you how that works. Now we have the circle here of radius 60, and it's the same thing on the other end. Right? We have the circle of radius 32 here. Now the circle 16 is tangential to radius 32 at these tangent points somewhere here, right? And then we know the radius of this circle, which is 32. So let's go back to our drawing and let's go to the circle tool. We're going to use tan radius. Alright, now we're going to draw this big circle here, or the circle of radius 32. So we know some point in time it's going to be tangent at this point, or somewhere around here. So we must ensure that we see the tangent symbol come up. So we click, then we go to the opposite end, and then we enter the radius, which would be 32. We type that in and we press enter. So there we have our circle of radius 32 tangential to our circles of radius 60. Now we could either go both ways on this particular question. So let's go back here. So now we need to draw this particular arc here that belongs to a circle of radius 676. The first arc we are going to draw to get our tangent would be the arc that comes from this point. Now if we were to draw a circle for the radius of 76 and we were to draw the circle for the radius of 20, 76 radius circle and 20 radius circle would be internal. So we know from our previous lessons that if we have internal tangents, we subtract. Alright, so in this case we're going to use this point as center, which is the center of the 20 radius circle, and we are going to scribe our arc with 20 minus 76. Alright, so that will give us 56. So from this point we're going to scribe our first arc at 56. So we go to the arc tool, center, start, end, and then we're going to scribe our first arc somewhere here at 50. And in this case, I want to just extend my arc back out this way a bit. So I'm going to click on the arc. I'm going to go to the furthest end that I want to extend, and I'm going to just click lengthen. And I'm just going to bring it about there. Right, so there we have our first arc. Now let's go back to the question. Now we have this circle of radius 60, and then we have this circle of radius 76. Right, now this circle of radius 76 is going to be outside of the circle of radius 60, so that is an external tangent. So with external tangents we know we add. Alright, so from this point to get our other arc here, alright, we'd have to take the center from this point. So that is going to be 16 plus the 76, which will give us 92. So from at this center point here, we're going to scribe 92. So let's go back to our drawing and do that. Arc tool, center, start, end. This point is center, and we're going to scribe 92 to intersect. Right, so there we have our point of intersection, and now we're going to use the arc tool, center, start, end, using this point as center, and we are going to scribe a nice big arc of radius 76. Lovely. Now seeing that our object is symmetrical, once again we are just going to copy the intersecting arcs and copy the tangential arc. Alright, and then we are going to mirror it across the line of symmetry. Now in this case the line of symmetry is going to be from here to here, and we do not want to erase this source object, so we're going to click no. Right. So now we could go ahead and take a look at our question, and we have some trimming to do. Right. So my advice is to trim in parts. So take it easy and trim one step at a time. You could go ahead and end the trim command here. And now we're going to dive back in. I'm going to end the trim command, and let's delete these. Now we go back into the trim command. Now we're going to delete these. So now we can go ahead and highlight these arcs and place them on our object line layer. Great. So with AutoCAD, so with this version of AutoCAD, right, which is AutoCAD 2019, we have the option to get automatic center lines. So we go to the Annotate tab, and we go center line panel, and we have the center lines for the circles, and then we have them for straight lines. So what we need to do, go back to the home, and then go onto the center line layer, go back to Annotate, and we're going to click center line, and all we have to do is select the circles that we want to add center lines to. And for the center line, we click and we get our center line. So we can increase this a bit to here. And with these, we can always shorten these. So we're basically neatening up our drawing here, which is always advisable to do. And remember, this question is an SBA question, so we want to make it as close as perfect as possible. So there we have it, our tangency problem reproduced and showing all tangent points and curves and our center lines in